Tonight, find out why Interstate 81 will be temporarily closing.
And why SUNY Oswego students recently protested on campus.
Plus, how the Oswego City Hall is showing support for Ukraine.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening, and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Maddie Durant.
And I'm Matthew Rivenberg.
The Oswego City Hall is displaying a particularly special Ukrainian flag. Oswego native Robert Taylor is a veteran who completed a deployment in Ukraine from October of 2017 to August of 2018, where he trained 3 battalions and a brigade. Taylor brought back a Ukrainian flag with written notes of thanks from his Ukrainian counterparts.
Taylor, as a representation of American Legion Post Number 268, brought the flag from his deployment to an Oswego Common Council meeting earlier in the week. Taylor says his American Legion post will host a chicken barbecue to support humanitarian efforts in Ukraine on May 28th. So far, Taylor says the post has raised about $8,000 to support the effort. We have new details tonight about Mayor Billy Barlow's proposed social district plan. The plan would create a zone in which open containers would be allowed despite the ordinance currently in place across many parts of the city. Barlow notes that although some are skeptical, he does not foresee any major problems coming from the plan. The main change is that any drinks opened inside the social district would need to be consumed before the drinker leaves the district and must be consumed in a cup.
The Oswego County Health Department says an additional 531 residents recently tested positive for COVID-19, using results from both lab and at-home tests. 20 Oswego County residents have been hospitalized in the past week. Oswego County's public health director says the total new cases in the county over the past 7 days are greater than the previous 14 days combined.
Murano Campus Center has many booths throughout the day. I was able to report on the recent Go Green Club booth. The Go Green Club and the Anthropology Club had a booth about fossil fuels and prison reform in Murano Campus Center on Friday. Juliana Brophy is a SUNY Oswego student and Go Green Club co-organizer. She says the protesting is important to attract the attention of the college.
We are calling on SUNY Oswego to divest from the fossil fuel industry as well as the prison industry and remove core craft as their preferred source of commodities.
Valerie Getz is a SUNY Oswego student and co-organizer of the Go Green Club. She says the protest is aimed at achieving multiple goals.
So we are hoping that SUNY Oswego will be transparent with what their current investments are. We'd like them to release a list of all their current investments, and we would like them to immediately come up with a plan and start enacting it to remove all holdings from the fossil fuel industry and any holdings in the prison industry.
Brophy says the groups share a passion for prison reform.
You slept in a dorm, you slept on a bed that was made by prisoners. And while there's a demand for workers, in this case prisoners, then there's a demand to keep them in prison, which we find is wrong.
For more information on any of the activities going on, you can follow them at gogreen.oswego. Reporting in Oswego, Matthew Rivenberg, WTOP 10 News. The Go Green Club holds weekly programs on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. in Murano Campus Center.
Renovations are underway to make Hewitt Union the new Hewitt Hall. The hall is anticipated to be the nation's top facility for the college's School of Communication and Media Arts. Director Alan Bradbury says 90% of the demolition of the interior has been completed, with a plan to reset the floors next.
Travelers on I-81 in Syracuse can expect to encounter roadwork during their nightly commutes. Crews will start working on April 4th and have an expected end date of April 15th. Construction between exits 16 and 17 will take place between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. with a detour available on Route 11.
Governor Kathy Hochul will launch applications for 2 tourism grant programs. The programs are aimed at supporting tourism and hospitality in New York State after both industries were severely impacted by the pandemic. 2 separate programs will combine to offer a total of $120 million of relief funding. Both programs are a part of the governor's $450 million Bring Back Tourism, Bring Back Jobs recovery package.
Governor Hochul also says the state will offer up to $50 million in funding to increase students' access to mental health services and to help students who have experienced trauma that has impacted their education. Up to $10 million a year over a 5-year period will be distributed to eligible school districts. The New York State Office of Mental Health will administer the program.
The New York City transit system may lose up to $100 million in motor fuel tax revenue if state lawmakers suspend the gas levy. This comes as the city's subway and bus agency faces an estimated budget deficit of $2 billion in 2026. State lawmakers are considering temporarily suspending the gas tax in response to increasing fuel prices. And coming up, the number of refugees from Ukraine reaches a somber milestone.
And Biden's latest announcement about the pandemic travel restrictions.
Now let's take a quick look at the weather with Storm Team 10 meteorologist Evan Bedron.
Thank you, Maddie. It's another cool spring night here in Oswego. We do have some thunderstorms coming along the way. Hopefully I don't get wet out here. I'm going to try to make my way back inside as soon as I can. But don't worry, because we can see temperatures on the rise later into next week. Stay tuned for my 7-day forecast coming up after the break.
Athletics. Aaron, there were 6 big points. This is the one you've been waiting for. This group has never beaten Cortland.
Getting started with some men's soccer as the Lakers had 2 conference matchups.
For half of the Lakers' goals this entire season.
Offense is key. You talked all about scoring goals.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
For the governor race with a strong lead, former Governor Andrew Cuomo is...
Barlow announced the completion of a large building mural in downtown Oswego.
The renovations on the Hewitt Union building, turning it into the new Hewitt Hall.
And as we move into tomorrow, that rain is going to be in our area.
Moving to the Diamond now, as Sweet Caroline got a lot sweeter last night.
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
We've been marinating chicken in all sorts of liquids for 24 hours. These are vitamins and minerals and things that you need, nutrients. The chicken speedy is a staple of our culture.
Tonight into tomorrow, we can see some thunderstorms move into the area. As we move into Friday afternoon, we can see more snow on the way. I know nobody's happy to hear that, but don't worry. We can see some nice way into next week. And here's a live look at your satellite. We can see a storm system moving north through Michigan, but we will be seeing those thunderstorms from the south move into our area later tonight into tomorrow morning. And then for your radar, we can see not much happening. We can see some rain over the lake, but not too much to worry about. And then for tonight's forecast, we can see some light rain, as I mentioned, moving into Oswego off the lake. Winds will be southeast at 13 to 21 miles per hour, so we can see some breezy conditions. And then heading into tomorrow's forecast, again, those chances of thunderstorms will be a possibility, but with those warm temperatures, it won't be as bad as we all thought it would be. And the winds will be soft at 13 to 22, so we can see windy conditions again. And then for your day planner, as we move into throughout the day, we can see temperatures rise into the lower 60s, but with those thunderstorms, it's probably not a good idea to stay outside as much as possible. If you do have to go outside, make sure to bring an umbrella with you. And then for your 7-day forecast, we can't see on Thursday thunderstorms as I previously mentioned, but Friday we will see snow with temperatures decreasing into the lower 40s, upper 30s. And then Saturday we can see sunny conditions, which will be good if you want to get some weekend plans out of the way, if you want to go to the park, or anything you want to do outdoors, that would be the day to do it. And then as you move later into the week, we can see on Sunday, we will have partly cloudy skies, temperatures in the mid-40s, Monday mid-40s again with partly cloudy skies. And then moving into later in the week, we can see temperatures moving into the lower 50s, upper 40s with more nice weather. But as you move later into next week, we can see some more rain move into the area. Stay tuned for more WTOP.
The Biden administration plans to end Trump-era restrictions on the U.S.-Mexico border. During COVID-19, asylum claims were suspended and 1.7 million people were expelled. By May 23rd, the administration is expected to reverse this order. Earlier this month, the CDC allowed unaccompanied, non-citizen children into the U.S.
Ketanji Brown Jackson, a Supreme Court nominee, has at least one Republican vote in support of her confirmation. Maine Senator Susan Collins says the judge possesses the necessary experience, qualifications, and integrity to serve as an associate justice on the Supreme Court. Jackson had support from many Democrats, but struggled to gain support from Republicans so far in the nomination process.
And if you're wondering when gas and grocery prices will come down, the answer is probably not anytime soon. Amy Kiley looks at the numbers.
New federal forecasts show food prices will likely keep climbing. The average cost of gas will stay high or may even rise. The USDA now predicts grocery prices will increase up to 4% throughout this year, and the average cost of dining out could set a new record. That's partly because Ukraine and Russia usually export a lot of the world's wheat and corn.
It will have global context impact beyond anything we've seen since World War II.
And China's new COVID-19 lockdowns are making it hard for supply chains to recover from the pandemic. Oil prices dipped a bit this week. That's after Russia said it would ease up its assault on parts of Ukraine. But
I think we should be clear-eyed about the reality of what's happening on the ground, and no one should be fooled by Russia's announcements.
It's called rockets and feathers, meaning when the price goes up of the price per barrel, that means your gas station price goes up like a rocket. When the price comes down per barrel, the gas station price comes down like a feather.
prices from the last month demonstrate what she's saying. Here they are for oil and gas. And here's a forecast into next year. U.S. oil producers aren't increasing drilling much to help. CEOs say investor pressure is restraining growth, according to a Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas survey.
Because of gas, we are, as of right now, no, we are definitely not taking our family vacation this year. It'll be more or less a trip to the lake.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
U.S. oil producers aren't increasing drilling much to help. CEOs say investor pressure is retraining growth. That's according to a Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas survey.
Many ordinary Americans are doing what they can to support Ukraine in their fight against Russia. In the state of Iowa, protective equipment is being sent to anti-Russian forces. The equipment has been decommissioned due to age, but the Iowa Department of Public Safety Commissioner notes that the vests and helmets are still in good condition. The Iowa governor notes that their state is prepared to take in Ukrainian refugees, although she is not sure when the day will come.
The number of Ukrainian refugees is now greater than the United Nations worst-case scenario estimate. 4 million refugees fled Ukraine since Russia invaded the country. Over 2.3 million refugees have left Ukraine for Poland, though many have traveled to other countries, including Romania and Hungary. The United Nations also estimates over 6.5 million people have been displaced by the war in Ukraine.
Among the refugees from Ukraine are 80 disabled children who arrived in Poland by train. The children were accompanied by their guardians as they arrived in a Polish border town on Tuesday. A spokesperson says the children will be transferred to Germany after sending spending 3 days in Poland, where they will receive aid and support.
And coming up next, the CDC removes another COVID-19 warning for travel.
And the Great Resignation among U.S. workers continues.
This job looks perfect. It says you need a high school diploma. You've got one of those, right?
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
I got that.
Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Major Discussions is the new show that explores the stories of students right here on campus. I personally came here to SUNY Oswego for the broadcasting program because I love to hear people's stories and to do work just like this.
Reporting 455,000 new jobs for the month of March. The leisure and hospitality industry showed the most job growth with just over 160,000 new jobs. In 2 days, the Bureau of Labor Statistics will be releasing their non-firm payrolls report, which is expected to show the March jobs growth to be 489,000. New numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics show more than 4 million people quit their jobs last month. In today's Consumer Watch, a look at the industries losing most employees and where the most available jobs are.
The nationwide worker shortage appears to be far from being resolved. The number of Americans quitting their jobs rose to 4.4 million in February. That's according to just released data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And economic experts warn that number could rise.
If they don't like their job or even slightly uncomfortable with it, they're going to take another one. So I think quit rates are going to remain high for a long time to come.
February's numbers are slightly higher than in the prior month, but below last November's peak of 4.5 million. The BLS report found more workers quit retail, manufacturing, and state and local government education jobs. Fewer people quit finance and insurance jobs.
People are striking out on their own. And then some people are staying in the same industries, but they're figuring out, better working environments.
According to the BLS, in February, U.S. businesses had 11.3 million job openings to fill, and companies hired 6.7 million people. The data also show that for every job-seeking American, there were nearly 2 positions available. The ongoing labor shortage has left businesses struggling to find staff, despite employers offering higher wages.
We have a lot of unfilled positions. People feel comfortable about quitting their current jobs if they're not completely happy with it because they know they can find another one pretty fast.
The industries where job growth increased the most last month were arts, entertainment and recreation, educational services, and with the federal government. For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
The next look at the employment situation is due out this Friday. That's when the Bureau of Labor Statistics releases the March jobs report.
People are ready to say I do after 2 years of uncertainty with the pandemic. As many as 2.6 million weddings are expected to take place this year, according to a new report out by the wedding planning site, The Knot. The report found the planned celebrations will be bigger and they aren't getting any cheaper, thanks in part to inflation. In 2021, couples spent on average of $34,000 on their marriage celebrations. The Knot found that October was the most popular month for weddings.
Big news for coffee and makeup fans. You can now put on makeup that smells like the coffee and donuts you're having for breakfast. In an unusual pairing, ELF Cosmetics is launching a makeup collection inspired by Dunkin's products. The packaging for the makeup looks like a box of donuts, with prices ranging from $6 to $16. The limited edition collection is available only to ELF loyalty program members starting Thursday. It rolls out nationwide through Ulta on April 3rd. The Biden administration announced the launch of a government website that provides information on the COVID-19 pandemic. Included on the site are a test-to-treat pharmacy locator and a link to a page where people can learn about free masks, vaccination clinics, and order free at-home tests. Biden says this move is beneficial because it provides Americans with a quick and reliable source of information.
The CDC COVID-19 warning for cruise travel has been removed. The move doesn't mean there is no risk of getting COVID-19 in a statement made by the Centers of Disease Control. The CDC urges travelers to be up to date on COVID vaccines.
And coming up in sports, Brian Redman.
Brian, can you give us a quick preview?
Absolutely. Coming up, the Oswego State baseball team has some adjustments to their schedule to make, plus men's World Cup qualifying going on. I'll give you all the updates from the United States versus Costa Rica game tonight. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We've been marinating chicken in all sorts of liquids for 24 hours. These are vitamins and minerals and things that you need, nutrients. The chicken speedy is a staple of our culture.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
For the governor race with a strong former Governor Andrew Cuomo is...
Barlow announced the completion of a large building mural in downtown Oswego.
The renovations on the Hewitt Union Building, turning it into the new Hewitt Hall.
And as we move into tomorrow, that rain is going to be in our area.
Moving to the Diamond now, as Sweet Caroline got a lot sweeter last night. Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Brian Rudman. We start with the Oswego State baseball team as their SUNYAC opener against New Paltz has officially been moved to a neutral site. The games will now be played at Maine Endwell High School in Endwell, New York, and will now be played on Saturday and Sunday as opposed to Friday and Saturday. The series will get kicked off with a doubleheader on Saturday beginning at 1 p.m., while the rubber match will take place at noon on Sunday. Now moving to some international soccer. The United States men's team has not been to a World Cup since 2014, but that could all change tonight. After a resounding 5-1 win over Panama on Sunday, the Americans have a chance to book their ticket to Qatar 2022 this evening in their final round match versus Costa Rica. Needing a result of a win, draw, or loss of 5 goals or less, Anything but a catastrophic result would mean a happy flight home for the Americans. Roughly 20 minutes into the game, the score is still tied at 0. Moving now to the NBA, the Stars were out last night in Brooklyn as Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving led the Nets to a 130-123 victory over the Detroit Pistons. Kyrie, he's starting to feel at home once again in the Barclays Center. In just his second home game of the season, Irving contributed 24 points and 4 assists. Meanwhile, KD showed off that sweet shooting stroke we know he has, dropping 41 points on 14 of 23 shooting, adding 11 boards, 5 assists, and 3 blocks as well. With the win, the Nets moved to 40-36 on the year, sitting in 8th in the Eastern Conference standings. And the Rangers were also in action last night as well. It was a 3-2 victory for the boys in blue over the Pittsburgh Penguins in that one. Brian Boyle opened the scoring in the first for the Penguins, but the Rangers, they came storming back in the second, thanks to goals from Frank Vetrano and Braden Schneider. The teams traded goals then in the third period, including a game winner coming from Chris Kreider just 1 minute into the final frame for New York. In between the pipes, it was yet another phenomenal performance from Igor Shesterkin, recording 22 saves. And the Rangers, they weren't the only team from New York on the road last night. The Islanders, they were also visiting the Blue Jackets. We'll get to the highlights in just a moment here, folks. The Islanders, they were looking for another big win. We started in the first period. Blue Jackets, they're on the attack lane, rips the one-timer, and Gavrikov, he's going to put in the rebound. The 5th goal on the year for the defenseman. Take another look. Wide open net for Gavrikov. They're 1-0 Blue Jackets. The Islanders, they'd answer back right away, though, on the power play. Barzal, he's going to throw this one right out in front, and somehow it finds its way to Brock Nelson's stick, and he's going to put it home to tie it up. It's 1-1, and the Islanders, they'd start to get it rolling from there. New York up 2-1 now. Beauvillier, cross-ice pass to Nelson, tries for another. Rebound winds up on Beauvillier's stick once again, and he's going to somehow get the odd-angled shot to go. They'll keep it going now. Puck to Dobson at the point. The cross-ice pass comes to Parise, who's going to extend the lead to 3, but the Columbus Blue Jackets, they're not going down without a fight. Puck loose out in front of net, and Bjorkstrand makes it a 1-goal game. Columbus, they keep on going. Man advantage, empty net, and Nyquist just gets robbed on the rebound. Take another look. The glove saved by Varlamov. That would be the difference in the game. Islanders hold on for the 4-3 win, move to 29-27 and 9 on the year.
Alrighty, and that's our report for tonight. Please be sure to stay tuned for the Kinda Late Show.
Thank you for watching. Have a great night, everyone.
You too.
Athletics. Aaron, there were 6 big points. This is the one you've been waiting for. This group has never beaten Cortland.
Getting started with some men's soccer as the Lakers had 2 conference matchups.
For half of the Lakers' goals this entire season.
Offense is key. You talked all about scoring goals.
Welcome to Understood.org, a free online resource for parents of kids with learning and attention issues, with personalized recommendations, tools, and daily access to experts to help your child thrive. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.